Witcher 3 sounds good. That's good.
It's a good game. Yeah.
Witcher 3.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, guys. Welcome to Coffee Machine, a Warm Hordes podcast. We're coming from Canton, North Carolina, just outside of the great metropolitan area of Asheville. And my name's Matt.
I'm Giorgio.
I'm Andrew.
And we're here to bring you some nice, relaxing War Machine talk this morning. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's just start off. We are a new podcast. I've been on an old podcast called The Killbox. You might remember me, but I've been going for about a year. But anyway, I've been playing War Machine since Mark 2. Used to be a K-Door player. Took a year break last year, and then came back and playing Crix really strong and hard.
Mm-hmm. I've been playing, I think I'm about a year and 1 month into the game, and I play Scorn. That's my biggest faction. I've only ever played Scorn. I've dabbled in maybe an event or two where I've played this little Signar.
Yeah, you played Signar in the Reckoning book release.
Yeah. Haley too, of course. But that was real recently, so I had a little bit of experience under my belt, so I was able to go with a big boy caster for that one. But Scorn, other than that, Scorn has been all day for me. I'm all about the Scorn.
Cool.
And I've been playing for, 2 months?
About 2 months now.
2 months now, yeah.
You bought the all-in-one, right?
Yeah, I bought the all-in-one Signar box. And Haley won most of the time.
Haley won most of the time? Yeah. Well, you recently came into a large purchase of my old Signar.
A lot of stuff. Got a storm wall and all that nice
Yeah, you got
stuff.
all the cool stuff.
All the good.
So, being a Crix player, I play the big boy casters most of the time. I play some Scar 1, some Sphyxies 2, Gorshade 3. I like playing Gorshade 3 a lot. But it's different, and it appeals to me. I like Crix a whole lot. Georgia, what made you attracted to Scorn?
The biggest thing that got me into Scorn was the Beast. When I first started playing, it was the Beast just looked awesome. I thought Legion looked pretty cool, but the no eyes thing and the Sharky look kind of meh for me. I didn't like it as much. If they were normal dragons, I probably would have picked Legion. But the bronze backs and the Titans were just they really drew me in, so that's why I decided to go with the Scorn. And which was lucky because they kind of like to run beast heavy, so I get to play a lot of them. I know a lot of War Machine players, especially if you hate to do it, but if you choose K-Door for the big stompy robots, you end up getting a little disappointed.
When I first started in a K-Door, I picked up just the battle box with Sorsha 1, the Destroyer, and the Juggernaut, and I instantly went out and bought a unit of Man-O-War Shock Troopers, and the two $20 blister packs to get it to a full unit, and I put them on the table, and then proceeded to watch Errants charge them and just destroy them, and I was very saddened by that that realization
because they look so good, but
it's not so good.
They don't do so good.
So Andrew, what made you decide on Signar?
I really just like staying back and shooting things.
Right.
And Signar is really good at staying back and shooting things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I really like to look at the mechs. Or they're jacks for some reason.
They're jacks?
Yeah.
Well, they are, they have a little bit of armor, but they're very, I feel like Signar's jacks are the most human of all of them. They look a little bit more human. If you look at the Stormwall for model wise, it looks like a dude.
He's got the 2 arms.
Yeah, it's not he's very proportionate. Unlike say the Kraken, which looks like a tick, which I got a Kraken over here off screen, or the Conquest, which is just like a big tank on little spindly legs. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. So for this podcast, we're mostly going to be I think we're going to try to keep it as a very casual stop podcast. Mm-hmm. We're going to mostly focus on new players and intermediate players.
Yeah.
Trying to get some people into the game, you know, making some of those beginner players into intermediate players, and possibly getting those intermediate players into their first, you know, tournament wins.
Yeah.
You know,
Tournaments.
tournament wins. We're going to do a lot of dojo. We're going to be doing a model section every now and then, stuff like that. We got a lot to look forward to.
And when we go to the tournaments, we'll do battle reports.
Oh yeah.
Run those along with everything else. So.
Yeah, there's not a lot of podcast presence in our little southern meta.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know, southeastern, you know? We're kind of like right in the middle there, you know? And we're western North Carolina, so we're actually away from all the other North Carolina metas.
Yeah.
So we have to travel to really get into the game. But our meta's really good. It's fairly strong. We got fairly strong players, but now, you know, Andrew started play, my Canton players in our little town here, we're getting more and more people, so hopefully we can you know, grow and expand.
And it's a pretty competitive meta too. Like,
it is.
Everybody likes to bring their A game, you know, just for casual days when it's just casual play. Everybody likes to play. You know, we ball bust on each other and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
But we try to keep all our play pretty clean, and but it's usually everybody's pretty competitive.
Yeah.
So it's fun, and it makes you good fast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Our meta can be quite the meat grinder.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially as a new player.
As a new player. Yeah.
I took my lumps the past year getting into this game. It was tough to get a win, but when I started getting them, it gets pretty rewarding. So
Certainly
I
does.
feel bad for Andrew over here.
Yeah.
I'm taking the punches right
Yeah,
now as
yeah.
we speak. So
So let's just talk about some new player kind of stuff. So Andrew, what have you had? Like, what kind of issues have you had getting into the game? Like
the first few games I watched, I guess it's because I've never really seen dice games played before or anything like that.
Oh yeah, this is your first miniatures game.
Yeah, very first.
Have you even played like something like Magic the Gathering? Have you ever played something like that?
I've
before?
played Magic a couple times, and before that, maybe
So
Yu-Gi-Oh! Once.
tabletop wise, this is really your first true game.
This is the first game like that I've ever put money into, and yes, but I just really had because math's not my strong suit either. So like just trying to figure out how like you would call a shot and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like that stuff really threw me for a little bit, and now it's just trying to figure out how I can control each of my guys, because I can't make them work as a unit yet for some reason. Like I can't use the Storm Guard and be thinking about what I'm going to do with the gun mages over here.
That's something that does come in time.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing the War Machine side of the game, it really feels like you have to plan out your entire turn while your opponent's playing their turn.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it likes to play. Giorgio, on the other hand, gets to play Hordes, which kind of plays a little bit looser.
Yeah, you get to just make up, on the fly decisions. Like, okay, I'm gonna go in with this beast, see how much work he gets done, and then he got way more accomplished than I thought he was going to. Sweet, I can now do less with this guy over here. Or if the opposite comes up, where that guy, he totally just failed me. Well, I got this back up now, and now I'm gonna send this other beast in, and I'm gonna push him to the tilt, and get every bit of work out of him that I can, because that guy over there messed up. So
yeah, it seems like Hordes it's way more of a risk reward system, and War Machine's way more management. It's like you have a finite amount of resources that you have to manage each turn. So what do you think is your biggest obstacle going into it? Like, well, maybe not obstacle. What is your biggest? Trying to think here. Maybe not obstacle. I'm trying to think like what.
What part of the game have you had the most difficulty dealing with? Like, as far as
Is it unit activation?
It's unit.
Or is it maybe like list building? Like
It's probably list building, because I tried to make a list the other night and it failed completely.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
was nothing.
when I first started making lists, that was one of I just oh man, these guys look good on paper, and then I put them on the table and they just get annihilated.
Yeah, that's what I did with the long gunners the other night.
Yeah.
I was like, these look like they're really good. And they get 2 shots. That's pretty cool. And then just can't hit, or when they do hit, it's just a PAL 10. And
yeah, it's true.
Like I would run Carax a little bit when I first started playing, and I would run them with somebody like Mordekar or something like that who doesn't really do a whole lot for them. So their base armor or base defense 12.
Mm-hmm.
So on feet turn they're defense 15, which is nice. And then their shield wall unit, so their base armor 14, the shield wall to 18. But it's not that good on single wound models. Satrati are just much better, and that's just part of the learning curve. You see these units that are out in because you get the huge list in War Room or however you look at it, and you just look at all these units. You're like, oh, what do those guys do? Oh man, that sounds good. Oh, these guys are armor 18. Oh, that's awesome. My Annihilators over here only armor 13. Screw those guys, they suck. And now like I run Annihilators left and right. Like I love them.
Annihilators are like your staple unit.
Yeah.
I don't see many lists that you run that don't have Annihilators in them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a what do you think? What is your favorite model so far since you started the game? Like, what's your favorite unit or models?
I really like the Defender and Gun Mage. Yeah,
the Jack Marshall with the Gun Mage?
Yeah, I really like that. Having that long of range with the Gun Mages.
Explain exactly what they do.
Well, Defender has the range of 16 cannon normally. They make just this normal attack. You Jack Marshall him with the Gun Mages, and he gets their Crit Brutal, he gets their Snipe, and he gets their Thunderbolt.
Or their Thunderbolt.
Or the Thunderbolt.
So yeah, he can choose any of the 3 abilities that they have.
And then he goes from a range 16 to a range 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I just
really
like
you can boost one of those, either the hit or the damage.
Right.
So.
And that's just a very
long way. How you've been playing it lately is taking like random pop shots at the opponent's caster, like in turn 2 usually.
Yeah, I think there was a game not too long ago that I played with Nathan where my very first turn I just walked the Defender up and I was like, I think he's in range, because Nathan had went first and I walked him up and I was like, take a shot and missed, but still, I really would like to do damage really early on.
Oh man, but I remember our first game that we played together, our first real game, our 35-point game, I was playing Asphyxious 1, and I moved him up, and you took a Defender shot, and you dealt half of his life total straight, and and that really put Asphyxious 1 up on, like, he's like, oh no, what do I do? So I had to stay way far away from that Defender each turn. Yeah, I mean, the threat saturation that the Defender has from a 20-inch distance, oh man, it's a killer thing.
Yeah.
So when you got into the game, what was your main model? Like, what did you like more than anything? Like, what was...
Well, one of the things that I really, I think it held me back for a long time was I switched around so much, because like I would play one caster and build a list with them, and I would always just build my own list. Like I didn't even know about net decking when I started, pretty much. So I was just doing my own lists, and I'd be like, oh man, I just got tabled. Like my whole army got wiped out. I don't like that caster now. Is kind of what ended up happening. So I would flip-flop around a lot. So I didn't really stick with anybody except for Rasheth. And his, like, for some reason...
Fatty?
Yeah. Because I like the Titans so much, the cheaper Titans in his tier list, Chain Gang, was like, oh man, Rasheth is one of the only casters that I've played since the very beginning and actually have stuck with. So, yeah, Rasheth was one of the first ones, and the list that I had... I think I did, it was something like 5 Titans. It was like double Bronzeback, Gladiator. I had the Cannoneer when I first started in it. I don't like the Cannoneer so much anymore.
Yeah, he's a little...
But, and then I did a full unit of Gators. I flip-flopped around between having 2 units of Gators a lot. I would do 2 units, one with the Taskmaster and one without.
The Gator's so good with Scorn.
Yeah.
Because of your Taskmaster.
Yeah.
I mean, they're basically one of your units.
Yeah, he turns them on. He does a lot for them. Which is weird in Scorn because all the other things that they do, they don't really like other factions.
Yeah, they have nearly no synergy, or you'll hear this term a lot, Scornergy.
Yeah.
You hear that term a lot.
Got that for sure. Things seem like they would work really well together, but then you can't do those combinations. It doesn't allow you to. Yeah. Like if we had a unit that could make a our minion units friendly faction, I think it might break Scorn. It would be really powerful.
Oh, it would be very, very powerful.
Because then all our feats would affect minion units, and then they could just do.
But I can totally see
stuff.
Scorn doing something like that.
Yeah.
You know, fluff wise, they're all about like subjugating.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
So
How about you? What
Oh,
was
me?
it that? Yeah.
So
what made you do? What made you want to start with a Kador, or do you want to start with?
It doesn't matter. Just shoot me a question.
All right, yeah, let's go. Since you've been playing Crix more, so that one's more recent in your mindset. Let's go. What was one of the first guys you started out in Crix?
In Crix.
So what made you pick that?
So
particular.
I got a little down on our on the game and in the meta. I wasn't really feeling like I was performing to my best talents in Kador. So I basically stopped the game for a good year. I started back in September of last year.
Yeah, sounds
about
right.
September of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that right before War Machine Weekend, I started buying into Crix. So I knew I wanted to play. I knew I wanted to play Scar 1. And I think Scar 1 was what really brought me into Crix.
Yeah,
I like
good.
she is the tanky character that I wanted to play in Kador. She is the chick with hardly any armor on the model, but she can tank so hard.
So good, yeah.
I mean, her
Really
being
can.
able to get to basically double her focus pool. Her model's great. Like I like the two weapon model outlook there.
And she can put out some damage.
Oh yeah, I
herself.
mean,
Is that the one that you destroyed me with the one day?
oh yeah,
when we were playing out there?
Yeah. Her
Yeah.
feat is +5 armor, +5 strength, and she takes up to 5 damage to get. She takes 1 damage. Everything is +1/+1, and you can take up to 5. You hardly ever see her take less than 5.
Yeah.
So she takes 5. Everything in her control area gets +5 armor, +5 strength. So if you can alpha your opponent, if you can charge your opponent with that much damage output, it's just a wave, because your opponent's first entire wave gets killed, and then their backup, their second wave of units, can't deal the damage.
Yeah, they can't do anything about
Yeah,
it.
because
Because
that +5 armor. Yeah.
I recently won a game against a troll player where she was the only model left on the board. She rolled a 6 on her on the turn before to get her ritual sacrifice. She rolled a 6 on ritual sacrifice to get 12 focus. Her Scarlock's ritual sacrificed on her turn. She rolled a 6 again, and then I proceeded to run my caster into my opponent's caster. So my opponent's caster was stuck in combat with an armor 27 Scar that he couldn't do anything about. He could have tried to walk away, but her horn attack has auto knockdown. So if I would have connected with her horn attack, his caster would have been knocked down.
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't deal me any damage, really. My turn flipped back around, and then 10 some odd attacks later, their caster was in the dirt.
That's
So,
the master attacks.
yeah, but by me, yeah, one of her weapons is the Turax, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard.
sounds
It's
right.
hard to pronounce. But every time that you hit with it, you can choose to deal herself a damage, and it becomes you get an additional DOS. So it effectively becomes a weapon master attack.
And then you can boost on top of
And you
that.
can boost on top of it if you want to. You don't see that very often. You just keep
don't
stabbing
really
it.
need to. Yeah.
Just keep stabbing it. So yeah, I think that's really the model that really made me want to get into Crix. Besides that, Bane Knights are my favorite.
They're my favorite too. I don't even have them in Scorn.
Bane Knights are just so much fun.
The closest that we get is the Immortals, and they're kind of fun. They get Vengeance.
Yeah.
Vengeance is really nice.
fucking vengeance.
So yeah, fucking vengeance.
The
So-
first time I did that, and I didn't have any clue what was about to happen to me.
So Andrew, you have quite the affinity for boom howlers. You like some boom
Yes.
howlers.
You've been playing
Yes,
some
that's
Boom Howlers?
probably going to be my
Yeah,
next
I've been
purchase.
borrowing my boom howlers.
Yes. That 4, 5, 6 tough and all that.
Mm.
It's It's amazing.
It's really good.
So good in Signar too. We can put Murdoch on them.
Yeah, make them friendly faction.
It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pretty nice. So what was it that made you go with Signar? It was just the look, right? And then the shooty stuff.
Yeah, it's the looking.
Did you look at any other factions? Like, did you immediately go to War Machine, or did you look at the Horde side too?
Well, I think I did like you. Like my first inclination was to do Legion, just because that was I think that was the first battle box game.
Legion is so like, if you start looking at Legion, it's a very beautiful faction, except half of it's ugly. Like, it's really weird. Like, either you got these cool dragons or these ugly little winged gargoyle things, and they're not cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt there.
I didn't really look at a whole bunch. Like, I'd seen Crix, and I'd seen Kador, and I'd seen a couple of the other ones. I'd seen the Trolls and Manoth, and for some reason, Signar just stood out to me. I really don't know why in particular. I just, again, really like to look at the jacks and being able to deal damage without having to get up close to you. I like being able to do.
Although Signar has some decent melee forces too. I mean,
like, I'm slowly learning how to rein in that Storm Guard.
Yeah, the Storm Guard and the Storm Knights are really good, and you can bring Holden Horde's Forge Guard, which are Banes.
Yeah.
They're really good.
No,
you have those. You got the dwarves. They're the little dwarves.
Oh, okay.
They're the hammer dwarves.
Yeah.
They can critical slam.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, they have crit slam, which is pretty solid. Critical smite, I think, is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's good stuff. Anything else there?
No.
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 So basically, that's kind of what we're going to go with. Something a little bit for everybody. You know, we're going to have a couple of different topics, and you guys want to close it out for today?
Yeah, I think that sounds. Sounds
just
good.
giving you guys a taste. Next time you'll get the full piece.
We'll do the full length episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of more focused on intros. And,
Yeah,
give you a feel of how it's going to go, so for later episodes what we're going to get into a little bit and stuff like that. So.
Absolutely. I'm Matt.
I'm Giorgio.
And I'm Andrew.
And have a wonderful coffee. I don't know. I don't know how to close this out yet.
This has been Coffee Machine.
This has been Coffee Machine.
Then we all just take a...
And we all take a sip, yeah. That's good coffee.